Hi dancers. Well, here we are at the studio, missing everybody. But we've got some things for you to work on at home. So while we're going through this time, use the time fruitfully. Do the exercises we've been teaching you all year long. This is not a time to try to learn a bunch of new things necessarily, but it is a time to keep your bodies in shape and to do fun things. So I'm going to work today a little bit with scarves, and we're going to take it from here. So here we have a small version of my scarves. I am famous for my scarves. Everybody loves working with scarves because it's fun, but it also helps you to strengthen your arms, make beautiful shapes, and this scarf I would recommend perhaps for younger dancers. Anyone from 3 on up could use it. I like the sparkles in it because that makes it fun too. And there's different ways you can use it. So the number one thing is hold it by one side typically, but if you want to use both sides, you simply slide your hand down and there you are, you've got it by 2 hands. So there are certain movements that look great using one arm, for instance, if you're spinning, and there's other movements when you're jumping perhaps that you would use 2 arms because it would make the movement look fun. You can also see if your mom or somebody in your household has a scarf. Most people will have a scarf. If you don't find a scarf, you could use a table napkin. You could even use a small tablecloth. You just have to be creative, and I'm sure if you look in your house, you'll find something that you can work with. This doesn't have to take a lot of room necessarily, but it is fun to do. So you can do spins. You can sway with scarves. You can make magical movements. Yes, and you can use both hands. You can take it in front of your face and down, and you can flick it. And all fabric has to be flicked with the wrist. So just try that. Hold it out and flick it and see what you can do. Find yourself a mirror that you can look into so you can see all the great things you can do with a scarf. So this is the young people's scarf primarily, but that doesn't mean to say that you couldn't use it as an older person. Yes? And by the way, adults can do this too. Here's my favorite fabric, silk. Silk moves in a beautiful way. Silk doesn't just do the movement, it continues the movement after you finish doing it, and that's what makes it so lovely. So, you can do things like this with silk, and you're working your arms as well as making pretty movements. Why don't you film each other doing this? Yeah? You can do different movements with turns, but you could also do back bends. And you see how it ripples? It's a wonderful thing. Now, take it like this and hold it around you. Take it around you. And that is really working the upper body as well, strengthening your upper body. So using silk is my favorite. Now, perhaps you don't find any silk in your house. When you come back to the studio, there will be silk waiting here for you. This is called silk chiffon. Now, I'm actually using these for a number. For you dancers, this is the size some of you will be working with this year. This takes extra skill. This is not as easy as working with those smaller scarves because it's much heavier. And so if you do a pirouette, you can feel it kind of lagging behind you. So you need to get this, and those of you dancers who know you're going to be working with these scarves, find something to work with, practice with it, practice flicking, practice throwing it and catching it, throwing it and catching it, throwing it and catching it. And all these movements. Now, it's harder to grab both ends of this scarf because if you have it with one hand here, you got further to go. That's all you have to do. You have it here, you take your hand, and you draw it along. And now you have movements that you can do that really will look exciting, okay? So those of you that know that you're going to be using this size, you know who you are, and anybody else out there, try finding something this size This is about, I would say, 3 foot, 4 foot, 4 foot, 4 foot by 3 foot, okay? So something big like this. Again, it's silk chiffon, so it has that movement. You may not find that at home right now. Don't worry. If you practice with something heavier, like a linen tablecloth, for instance, it will only increase your strength. Now, the pièce de résistance. My fan with silk attached. These fans are so beautiful, and they have such terrific movement. You see that? See how pretty? So you can spin, you can make a waterfall, you can do all kinds of wonderful movements with this. Now, if you're looking to get these, they're on Amazon. I don't know if they'll be able to deliver them right now, but they're there. And these take a little extra skill because they open and close, and you can throw them to open them. Yes? So that's how they are. It's a fan, and it's got beautiful silk, and you can get them in all different colors. And this, by the way, makes a fantastic number. I myself am doing a number with these this year. And see how it moves? This will keep you occupied for hours. Finding new ways, finding new things to do. You know, you can also hold it like this, so when you spin, it kind of wraps around you. There's just different things, different movements that you can use. You don't have to be doing a lot with your legs. But all this movement, make sure you use both arms, is helping not only for you to have fun at home at this time, but also for you to strengthen your upper backs. And all the time you have to be thinking of pulling your shoulder blades together, opening your chest so you're like the person on the front of the Titanic, and you're just having a wonderful time entertaining yourself, because that's what it's all about right now, is entertaining ourselves. Thank you, dancers.